Hey guys, welcome to the Thrive and Shine podcast, episode 3 with Kurt. Do you want to introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? Jordan, thanks for having me on. I'm Curtis Cook. I am a functional health coach, amateur bodybuilder. I work in clinical research, and I have my bachelor's degree in neuroscience, so a little bit about me there.
And you're getting your master's in?
I'm eventually going to be getting my master's in psychoactive investigation, so really just looking and studying psychoactive drugs, psychedelics, marijuana, all that fun stuff, which, yeah, pretty exciting there.
We were already talking about some heated topics about coaching, and I think the biggest thing is like when you have a strong community in whatever it is, having like-minded people around you, just it makes you better, whether you think it is or not. Like whether they're like actually helping you or they're just like kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Just being surrounded by people that are highly motivated or like good at their field of what they do, like it
pushes you.
it pushes you.
And you learn so
Subconsciously.
much. And honestly, too, I like the saying, if you want to learn better, you teach other people that material.
Yeah.
So, for the mentors you're learning from, or if you're mentoring somebody below you, the more you can teach them, you help them grow. At the same time, you learn it better, and it just fosters a better community and relationship. Because I know we were talking about, just within specifically like the coaching community and the fitness industry, you're going to encounter some people that just like want to gatekeep information. And it's like, dude, what the heck? Just let everybody grow together, because it makes the space a better environment. Everyone's helping each other. You help more people in result, and it's just an overall better flow, I think.
Yeah. I think like we've talked about this before in the podcast, is like you should never have a client forever.
Yeah.
They should be able to become fully independent. And I think coaches that just like give them like little like teases of information and like just like only enough to get them to the next step, but not to like become independent and just keep that revenue going. I think
some coaches probably do that. Particularly the coaches I know, they don't do that, but I definitely have heard some that do. And it's just, but their client retention maybe isn't the best. I always tell my clients, I'm sure you do too, as soon as you hire them on, it's like, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to teach you everything I know, just how my coaches taught me. I'm going to improve your life. I'm going to help you instill habits. And then I don't want you to work with me together. We can be friends. We can talk, but I don't want to see you around all the time.
Reach out if you need help or whatever.
As a coach or, whatever you're in, you want people to learn from you and grow and do their own thing. That way they can go off and do it for other people too. If you're, maybe a hot take, but if you have a client around for a long time and it's not their choice, and it's their choice to stay, that's different. But if it's not their choice and they're just like need you, you may be doing something a little bit wrong.
Yeah, some people just like the accountability, having someone to push them. And they're still fully independent on their own. I know a lot of people, they'll try keeping a client because they struggle to get more clients, and they'll complain that the market's so saturated and like it's so hard to get more clients because it's so saturated. Yeah. But I think it's complete opposite. If there's high saturation in a market, then you know that there's sales, like potential sales.
High demand. Yeah.
There's high demand.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think it's a good argument to say it's too saturated.
I think people just resonate too with other people. So I may not be the best coach for, that person, but you may be, right? And it just could be like a personality thing. So I think a lot of people, when they're looking at coaches, they're not necessarily, they're looking at your credentials and what you can do, but they're also just looking at you as a person. Are you someone I can trust? Are you someone who I can relate to? Because for me personally, I don't want to work with anybody if I can't bro out with you a little bit or just talk to you as a person, right? Because it's more, and we talked about this last time, but it's more than just doing nutrition. It's more than just doing, hey, eat this meal plan. It's lifestyle coaching. It's being there to help them through their highs and their lows, obviously with their nutrition and physical goals, but their mental health and just being a friend. So
it's not like coaches here, clients here. It's like it's a strong, even relationship that like one's not better than the other. You work as a team. And exactly. It shouldn't be like, I'm the boss, you do what I say. Yeah. It's an equal relationship.
I would agree. I think sometimes as a coach, you do got to take the lead because some people get a little afraid in terms of, and so when they get a little afraid, if they don't know things, they're like, what's going on here? Maybe we should do this, X, Y, and Z. And that's kind of where a coach, I think you need to connect with them in the middle and be like, hey, no, we need to do this because this is why and this is what's best for you, but not in like a patronizing way, just more of a relationship way.
Talking about this the other day. Some people, me and Jack, some people need a firm backhand and some people need to be coddled.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to pick and choose when the right time is. Some people just need that, like, you got to do this. Like,
exactly.
This is the reason why this result isn't happening.
Yeah.
Or some people need to like, come on, like, you got this. Like,
yeah, everyone's so different though. That's what makes the job cool though. It's like unique. You know, you have to have people skills and be able to talk to people and understand them and be empathetic. And I think that will take you farther. If you're genuine, you're empathetic, you recognize how you need to approach that relationship, and you foster that relationship. You're not just like cookie cutter and treating everybody the same. Because even when you grow your roster, like, you're going to be busy, but that important detail of recognizing that individual goes leaps and bounds for growing your business and retaining those clients, because they feel safe, they feel trusted, they feel seen. And that's so important, especially on their journey, man. Like, for a lot of people, my clients, man, some of them, you know, they're just getting into this, and this is an intimidating space. Hey, start tracking your macros. Hey, you got to weigh your food. Hey, you got to do this. And they're like, whoa, too much.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to, like, okay, I'll meet you in the middle. Let's go here. Let's take our time, because it's going to help in their journey and their growth. But some people are just absolute killers and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Give me the meal plan. I need to eat 50 grams of this. No problem. I won't even eat 51. Like, I'm on it. You know what I mean? It just depends. I think it depends on the person. But
do you take really good notes about your clients? Like, I'll have notes, and my clients, like, sometimes, like, previously they like information like provided this way.
Oh, nice.
And I'll have like, this is the plan from previous week. This is the plan for next week. This is the plan for the next month after this.
Yeah.
And like making sure that we're on the right trajectory to reach the next step. Not even not the end goal, but the next step.
Yeah.
Because I think people always get so end goal oriented and not process oriented.
Yes.
Because people are like, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds, but the steps they're taking and the way to get there isn't reflective of the actual goal.
Yeah.
Like, let's get the goal is to get to the next step.
Yeah.
And then to the next step, and then eventually you get to the end goal.
100%. I 100% agree with that. I think most people, it's just the way America is too. Everything's short, like, gratification. So, you know, if you're asking someone they need to diet for 6 to 8 months to lose that weight, they're like, whoa, that's a long time. You know, so you have to break it down into shorter goals. I think it just depends on the person too. I like doing that though. I have for some clients, it's a little different. Some clients don't want to see that because they get too overwhelmed. But some, I'm like, okay, let's break it down. We're going to go through these phases. And then I like to do weekly calls with my clients. I don't know if you do that a lot. But I just want to talk to you face to face. I do still do like Loom check-ins and over, you know, the computer check-ins. But I want to meet with you once a week. Let me just hear about your life. We don't even really have to talk about your fitness stuff. We can save that for the end. Just how's life going? Because that has such a correlation to where you're progressing in terms of your goals, you know.
How would you advise people to decipher good and bad information on the internet?
Oh, dude, I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer this. I would say look at multiple sources. You know, it's so easy now just to read a title and be like, oh yeah, here's what's going on. But you don't read the article. And I'm guilty of it too. Like, everyone is. We're all so busy. We're also like short attention span. So you're reading a crazy article and you're like, oh God, I know what's going on. And then you tell your friend, and then it's like he tells somebody. So the key thing is, I think, look at multiple sources and then just do your research. Like, look up things you don't know. Don't just assume and like regurgitate that information if you don't understand it.
Yeah. A lot of people's form of research though is just looking on like Safari or Google.
Yeah.
Rather than like PubMed, EBSCOhost.
Yeah.
And that's the research. But then you're just having confirmation bias. And like if you go on Safari or whatever, you could find every article imaginable that proves your point and not the opposite point. There's some type of term for it. When you're trying to find your answer is to try to solve like the opposition's to prove the opposition side.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically scientific theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially. But
no, that 100%. You got to look at both sides, right? Because it's so dangerous. And this goes beyond just, and we can get in the weeds of just like overall society with this point, but the time where you start to believe in just one side and that becomes your truth, regardless of how much you know about it, that's when things get dangerous, because your mind gets closed off towards other avenues of information. And that information is just as valid. That's why there's a whole other, you know, viewpoint for it. So you have to look at both sides. You have to be in the middle, especially, I mean, in terms of like fitness and the health community, there is so much information out there because there's so many influencers. There's so many coaches, like you said. There's just a million people to get their information from. So if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at people, you know, online telling me what to eat, what to do, and they may look reputable, I just want to make sure I'm looking at other sources and comparing what they're saying.
Yeah.
And that way I get a little bit of a reference point. And then I'll do my own research. If he says something about hormones, I obviously, let's say I'm assuming I don't know anything about hormones. I will take what he says, but let me just go research real quick. Put it in ChatGPT real quick and say, give me PubMed articles and summarize. Even that's a good start, just to understand this stuff.
Yeah, so many people just take things at face value, and they're like, oh, it seems legit.
Yeah.
Like there's a video on Instagram I just saw where this lady was saying that eating an apple a day adds like visceral fat to your body. And just like,
bro, what?
I was like, what? Alec Moore did a funny video like on top of that video saying like, yeah, just packing on the pounds, like eating an apple a day, you're just like
3 or 4
adding
apples
so much
going.
weight.
Yeah. No, most people would benefit just eating an apple a day and not the 4 cheeseburgers they consume at lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many buzzwords get thrown around on the fitness community. 2 of them being estrogen dominance and low T. I'm sure you've heard that 100 times.
Every day, probably.
Could you explain estrogen dominance?
Yeah.
What exactly it is?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically when you're looking at a hormone panel, so first of all, I will say this. If you're not getting your blood work, get your blood work done and make sure you're getting a full metabolic panel. We can put more information maybe in the bio, what that would look like. But the importance of blood work is super essential just to know where you're at internally, right? You need to know. And then in terms of hormones, looking at estrogen dominance and low testosterone, for men, for low testosterone, you hear it a lot. And typically, what I'm seeing a lot from my clients when working with younger men, they have super low testosterone levels. And it's just the environment, the lifestyle, the food. It's just a combination of those. But when you have low testosterone, it's just, you're basically in a lower optimal range of where you should be, right? So you have a natural range for testosterone of where you should be.
300 to 1,000 nanograms.
And even when you're below 300, you're going to start feeling that stuff. And then I'm having 24-year-old guys come to me and they have 250 testosterone. I'm like, whoa. Like, what have you been doing?
Anything below 300 is hypogonadal.
Yeah, and you're gonna feel it.
Just
Yeah, you know what?
But they don't think they feel it because it's their new norm. Like
exactly.
They don't know it's necessarily low T because it's always been low.
Yeah.
So they don't know what it's like or how it should be.
Exactly.
Higher.
And then on the opposite side, you have estrogen dominance, where we look at these ranges. Your estrogen is above those optimal ranges in a high elevated spot. And this can mean a lot. We can definitely get into the weeds of hormones and then the whole endocrine system.
Yeah.
But, in women, this is a little bit dangerous because then you're looking at more, cancer things and stuff like that. And then men, you see a lot of more estrogen dominant men, testosterone super low, estrogen super high. You get that puffy, visceral fat look, maybe low energy. But, it's a more complicated issue because it stems from a lot of things, but mainly coming from lifestyle, food, nutrition. Do you work out? What do you do with your life is where we typically see these problems raised. So when I have a guy come to me and he's got, 24-year-old guy and he's got 270 testosterone. Okay, talk to me about your life. What's going on? Well, I eat 1 meal a day, maybe Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast. I really don't really work out, maybe once or twice.
A lot of snacks.
Snacking. I drink on the weekends, and I've been doing that for since I was 18. It's like, well, shit, man. Like regardless of where your hormones could still, that testosterone could be in optimal range, sure. But let's look at the rest of your blood work. I guarantee you some effed up stuff in there, right? Yeah. So it all really stems from this lifestyle stuff. And hormones are going to get affected from so many things: your adrenals, your thyroid, your gut health. A whole insulin resistance. There's so many different things. So just looking at the big picture, but you do see that a lot. Low testosterone and high estrogen. That seems to be the main thing on social media people. That's why you have 16-year-old kids wanting to do cycles and get big, and they never got their blood work done or anything. It's just, and that's a whole other conversation.
Even if you think you're healthy, get your blood work done.
Just get it done. It's just so good to do.
Because sometimes you think you're super healthy, you eat right, you train, and your blood work's still might be good.
Yeah.
So you still need to get blood work regardless of how healthy you think you are. Like I get my blood work done out of curiosity, just for the sake of being healthy.
Yeah. I'm going next Friday. I am.
I'll go with you.
Yeah. I go twice a year. I mean, there's so many factors. Like, for us, we eat pretty healthy. I'm pretty regimented. But at the same time, life gets up to you. I mean, there's things that we necessarily can't control, environmental toxins. I mean, there's plastics in a lot of our shit. Stuff in the water. Like, there's so many different things.
Yeah.
Stress. I mean, if you're a high stress individual, your hormones are probably going to be messed up. And your social groups, like, there's so many things that play into it. So just get your blood work done and see what's going on, because that's the first step to like understanding your health and where you need to go with that. And then you can do what's cool about it. You can put your hormone panel into ChatGPT and AI thing, and you can start learning what these things do.
Buy a book, read a book.
Buy a book, read a book. You can start
research
learning.
Anything.
Yeah. Hire a coach for 6 months, a year, have a consultation with them, and they have them go through the blood work with you, or a clinician, and then you can start understanding this stuff. Yeah, super important.
Yeah, maybe not always a doctor for some things.
Some doctors maybe not know.
Yeah, depends.
Yeah.
Do you think that testosterone boosting supplements actually work?
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I don't, like, if you're thinking of like turkesterone or
like Fadoja agrestis, Tonkat
Ali. I mean, I know there's studies on it, but I think the percentage yield, and I could be wrong. I mean, I definitely don't know this off the top of my head. It's such a small percent of gain. So if you're like at 300 tests and you're just blasting Tonkat Ali and turkesterone, you may see those values raised to like 320. Right? It's just
from 300,
From 300. Like, the percent value is so small, but you're spending $80, $90 on all these things.
Do you know that I don't think there's any human trials? All the research is done in rats.
Yeah.
There's no human trials.
I just remember reading the literature, and I was like, why would I spend money on this?
Yeah. There might be some, like, self-done studies, but that's such a small, like, margin of, like, there's such a big margin of error.
Yeah.
It could be like, oh, I'm going to take this testosterone supplement, and I'm also going to start working out and being, like, eating healthy because I'm taking a supplement. When, like, the actual effect of testosterone increase is that you started training, you started eating right.
Yeah.
And just, there's so many different, like, confounds into, like, doing the actual research study.
Yeah.
And there's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the correlation there? What's actually working? You know, I would say, you know, if you're a guy or a woman and you want your testosterone to increase, I guess more tailored towards men here, but you want to do it the natural way.
Lift weights.
Lift weights, eat healthy, move your body. You can look into cold therapy. There's red light therapy, hot therapy. Like, those things are more proven to boost your testosterone than taking turkesterone or Tonkat Ali. I'm sure those things on top of it will not only help a little bit, but, you know, I would just do the research there, see what actually is going to work.
Or you can... I just lost my train of thought.
Or you could do
I was gonna say lower stress.
Yeah, lower stress. Exactly. Look at your metabolic panel. If you have adrenal issues and you have insulin resistance and your hormones are tanked, you got to go back. It's not your hormones that's the problem. You got to take care of your adrenal health, your stress. You got to take care of your insulin resistance. Maybe you have, you know, some other problems going on. You need to take care of that, and then watch how your testosterone will spike up. When your body's under stress, it's going to downregulate hormone production. Right? So take care of those issues, and then you upregulate that production, and you're in a better spot.
Do you think cold therapy is actually beneficial?
You know,
I think it's mostly just cognitive benefits, and not because there's not too much research that proves that cold therapy, whether it's ice baths or like the cryo chamber kind of thing, I don't think any of that really works for muscle recovery. I think the sauna is more effective, but obviously there's huge wave of people just doing
the cold therapy,
the cold plunges, ice baths. Everyone's buying an ice bath. Obviously I have a Wim Hof book right here. And I think it's all interesting.
I honestly need to do more research on it, but I will say just from, and this goes back to the study between like turkesterone and Tonkat Ali and eating healthy. So if you're doing cold therapy, but you also have low stress and you're taking care of everything else in your life, like, is it helping? Like, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily know, but I do know, you know, from the people that I've known, I've seen their blood work and they do cold therapy a lot. Their testosterone is great. Like, I know a 65-year-old guy, and he's just been doing sauna and cold therapy like 3 times a week. And granted, he eats well, so there's that. He takes care of himself.
It's like the chicken and the egg.
Exactly, but it's hard. But his test levels were like 1,200. It's like, holy crap, dude, that's insane. You know, no hormone replacement therapy, just doing the consistent things for years in and years out. So it'd be interesting to look at. I mean, I probably need to refer to it again and see. Yeah,
because it's either like the cold therapy improves the testosterone, or the relaxation and lowering in cortisol after the cold plunge then increases the testosterone. Yeah. So it could be like either way.
Either way, I mean, throw it in. It's a good mental thing, right?
It's not going to hurt you.
It won't hurt you. Yeah. It has its benefits. Whether that directly or indirectly, it will help in some regard, right?
I don't know if you've given any thought to it, but if you were going to conduct your own research, what would it be?
My own research, I guess I would research cold therapy's effect on testosterone. You know what? I don't necessarily know, man. Like, I think when, just coming from a neuroscience background, my favorite things to do were working with brain stuff. I really like that. I love doing the fitness and the health stuff. But for the most part, I'll let other people look into that and do the research. If I was going to do it, it would definitely be between the relationship between psychoactive drugs and just overall consciousness and brain state. Like when I was in college, my senior project actually, Larry will like I'm telling this story, shout out Larry, but I actually got permission from my my college professors for my neuroscience project. We had the whole year to do it. We gave a human trial, Larry. We tested his brain waves using a substance called 4-ACO-DMT. This is a psychoactive compound. It has the same active ingredient, psilocin, as is in psilocybin mushrooms. When you take psilocybin mushrooms in, your body metabolizes it, breaks it down to psilocin. That's the active compound that's going to make you trip. So we gave him 4-ACO-DMT, which is just pure psilocin. We did this as a funny story. We did it like 1 p.m. on I think it was like a Wednesday. We gave it to Larry. He was definitely tripping, gave it a full trip, and we recorded his brain waves. And what we were able to do is we were able to record like a mystical experience based off of a subjective questionnaire, and we saw the correlation between his brain waves. He had more delta and gamma waves. So fun story, but I would do more research like that. I love doing that. The topic of psychedelics, psychoactive drugs, and how they play on your perspective on reality and your consciousness in altered states, so fascinating. And it's still such a horizon to explore and a frontier to explore that I would definitely do that.
Yeah, I know generally that psychedelics can put you into like a dream state.
Yeah.
Do you think that it'd be much different if you took them and then went to sleep, or
you can't sleep?
You can't, like your body won't let you.
You're not sleeping, buddy. No, it just you won't be able to sleep. Yeah, you won't be able to sleep. It's just your brain is just in a different state that it can act like it's in a restful state, like a dream state, but you're not sleeping. No, you're going along for the ride. Yeah, even if you want to sleep, you're just not going to sleep.
How did heart rate change during that?
We didn't monitor his heart rate, but you typically see a little bit of elevated heart rate sometimes. It just depends on the experience. You can also see it super low, right? It just depends on.
Because if you're like in a sleep state.
Yeah, but I will say like in terms of psychedelics, classic psychedelics, psilocybin, LSD, DMT, which is ayahuasca. Yeah. Those psychedelics don't have any negative biological effects on your body. I mean, they're not toxic. You can't overdose on them. You can't, hurt yourself on them. Psychologically, sure, like they do pose more of a risk. But there's no other thing. Like if you're gonna take a ton of cocaine, yeah, you're probably gonna die or whatever it is. Like these drugs don't do that, and they actually have a limit too. The more you take, the less they're gonna work. So it's a fascinating thing
returns.
Too. Yeah. So. In terms of that, there's really no biological risks for psychedelics, which is fascinating. But they are one of the most powerful drugs in terms of reality switching and perspective shifting. Yeah,
it's so weird how like some like metabolites have like the diminished returns.
So, dude, it's
like,
crazy.
Like caffeine, one of the metabolites of caffeine is theobromine, and that is diminished returns. If you take more, it's actually less effective. Has what's the half-life of caffeine's like 4 to 8 hours.
I really don't know.
And then theobromine is 7 to 12. It's also in dark chocolate.
Yeah.
I think once you exceed like 500 milligrams, it just becomes way less beneficial, and you don't get any like really good effects. And I think once you're like 250 to 300 is like optimal. Once you start pushing more than that, then it's less effective. Other than like caffeine, when you take more, you're gonna have more energy. You might have a bigger crash, but
I'm sure it's the same probably with nicotine too, right? Like the more nicotine you take, tolerance you build, and it just doesn't hit the same. Either way, you made a good point of indirectly made a good point of drugs and whatever you're taking, whether it's stuff for fitness, hormone replacement therapy, supplements, like vitamin C, for instance, or psychedelics. Every drug you interact with is just a tool, and it needs to be balanced, just like everything in life. The universe has a scale of balance. Your body has a scale of balance and equilibrium. You can have too much of something, too little. Same thing goes with drugs and supplementation.
Fat-soluble vitamins.
Yep, same thing with that, dude. Yeah. Like it's the same concept. So it's like when you're taking supplements, when you're doing, if you do psychedelics, if you do any sort of drugs at all, it's all balance. It's all correlation. Yeah. I just felt that was a good point to bring up.
Yeah.
Because especially, a lot of people more and more, I need more. And then they don't realize it may not work as efficiently, or it just doesn't have the same return. So you need to give a balance and a break.
Yeah. Just giving like more clarity on that too. It's like the B vitamins, not B vitamins, A, D, E, and K are all fat soluble. So if you have a lot of fat soluble vitamins, you're going to build up toxicity versus water soluble. They're just going to be excreted through the urine. Yeah. So even like something that's healthy, it can be toxic. Water, you can
vitamin C, like
you can die from drinking too much water.
Water, everything. And the problem with most humans, we are just a glutinous species to an extent. Like we love to consume more. We just want more of it. But in reality, that may not be the best option. And this is a great segue into, PEDs and younger kids. Like I want to look like, whatever version they're seeing on Instagram. I want to look like that guy. I don't want to do the 6-7 years of grinding and doing it smart. Let's just give me all the PEDs. You know what I mean? Just give me it all, whatever's going to happen. And when you're young, you're not realizing the effect that's going to have on you. And you see it so much. You see, I see it all the time on social media. I don't know if it's just my feed, but I see
kids taking SERMs, SARMs.
Yeah. I see a 17-year-old kid on like tren and like a gram of testosterone. I'm like, dude, you're 16. Like, why the fuck are you doing that? You don't need to do that. Just like go to sleep, eat quality food, and just train and just enjoy your life. Fall in love with the process. You don't need to look like
go to the gym for an hour, go home.
You don't got to look like these Olympians. Like, just take your time. Even those Olympians that you see, yes, they're genetic phenomenons. They weren't blasting gear.
It's the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
They weren't blasting gear at 15. Just take your time with this stuff. You don't need to look like that. You need to just focus on your own journey. You don't need to have this vision of
just look at Mike O'Hearn.
Don't look at Mike
O'Hearn's like natural.
Him. Yeah, well,
change your mind.
But yeah, I don't know. I see it a lot, man. It's just like shit. I mean, I'm blessed. I think we're both blessed in a way. I mean, you're a little younger than me, but when I was growing up, social media was kind of newer still. I was posting selfies in my basement, playing video games with my friends, and like got 9 likes. I was like, this is pretty sweet. But now it's like, now at that age, you have kids that are posing and have good followings and want to be like the next C-bum, and then they eventually go in the PED route at such a young age. It's like, dude, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Remember Vine? I think I did one Vine, and my only Vine was me making a pyramid out of toilet paper.
Did it go viral?
No, it got like, I don't know, maybe like 2 likes, 3 likes.
I remember the old selfie phase for me, where it would just be like, Instagram for a while was just like selfies, and I think that was the popular thing.
And then the selfie stick came out.
So I'm just taking selfies. I'll have to show you a picture after this. I took in 6th grade for, if you remember Hot or Not.
No,
maybe it was just my time and just my area, but there's an app called Hot or Not where basically everyone in your school would rate you on like a scale from 1 to 5 on how hot you were. But in 6th grade, bro, I just remember taking these like thirst trap pics on my iPod of trying to get my Hot or Not scale up, dude. It's like shit, but completely different time, right? That's just a completely different time than what it is now, and how crazy kids are these days, dude. I mean. I'm not that old, right? I'm only 25, but just seeing the younger generations and people in my family, they have such a different outlook on life and social media. I'm like, damn, dude, I'm kind of glad I missed all that.
Yeah.
In it now, but at least I'm an adult, right? I don't have the peer pressure of dealing with all that at 15, 14. Like, I was just playing basketball with my friends and trying to talk to girls.
Running through the woods. And
yeah. I didn't care about my social media presence and my online. I just wanted to have fun and live life. And I think that, this is kind of straying away from the topic, but since we're on it, I think that needs to come back a little bit more. Just like have fun being a kid. Because once you get older, if any kids are, any young kids are listening to this, like you're in your teens, dude, just put the phone down and just go hang out with your friends and live life, because I promise you, you're going to have so much screen time and electronic time when you're older, and you're going to like want to get away from it. Like now when I'm just like, dude, I want to go a weekend camping, just get away from my phone for like at least a day, because I'm just always on it. I mean, we have to be, because we live in that world. Like, it's a digital world. We do online coaching. Got to keep up your social media presence, but it's like, fuck, dude, like I miss those days of just living life a little bit, Just start like writing letters to your friends. They want to read it. They don't even think they check their mail. Imagine like, I wrote you a letter and like, March 28th, Tuesday at 4 p.m., let's go to the gym. Gets like a day late. Oh, fuck, I missed it. Yeah. But shoot, there's some importance in just, and I think this just translates to overall life of just really enjoying the moment and getting away from all this social pressure, even falling in love with the gym, right? Even your own process of that. I was looking up YouTube videos. That's like when Gymshark was emerging and like David Lade was like the dude. He still probably is the dude. But but that was the big dude. And I was just learning to lift. I would just do it with my friends. I fell in love with the process. And I love just being able to lift and improve, but never held myself to a version of like, I want to look like Subom. Like I need to learn about hormones and stuff. I didn't get into that until I got more into bodybuilding and I had like years under my belt and I started to understand this stuff from a science background. Be like, okay, here's what's going on with this and how this interacts with that. And okay, you got to be careful here. But now you just have kids taking it just because this is going to get me jacked. It's like, no, just whatever you're working towards, fall in love with the process and just focus on improving every single day and just have fun. Because when you get older, and this is definitely more tailored to younger people, but as you get older, life just picks up responsibility. You're not going to have those moments. And then you're going to realize, shit, I was in the golden days and now I'm grinding all the time. It's like,
Yeah, golden days to grinding days.
Yeah, really. So that's, I guess, one piece of advice I would give my younger self. I know we didn't talk about that, but I think it's important to say. You never know.
That's pretty good.
We went from ice baths to Michael Herron to some talking.
To it's a motivational speaker.
Yeah. What I think we talked about this last time, but I want to bring it back up again.
By the way, guys, we recorded this episode previously, like a couple weeks ago, and no audio picked up. So
we're
redoing it.
We're redoing it. A little blooper there, but we talked about it last time. When you're, I want to bring up again because I think this is another good segue into like the why of coaching for you. Like, why do you like coaching? Why do you do it? Because it comes with its pros and cons, right? Like, it's not always easy to do. You're dealing with a bunch of people sometimes. And, a thing that I hear a lot from some of my mentors is like the why. Why do you do it? Why do you want to do that? So I kind of just retouch that and open that back up.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, okay.
I was in nursing and I did clinicals. And it wasn't like, I didn't enjoy it like I thought I was going to. And then I was going a different route. And I was going to do musical therapy. And I was
really?
Like, yeah. That's why I changed from nursing to psychology. I was like, I want to do like a musical therapy major or a master's program.
What does that look like, if you don't mind?
It's just you like using
I don't even know what that is.
Music as a form of therapy. It could be like kids that are nonverbal. It could be
that's pretty cool.
Like working with like a VA kind of environment. There's a lot of different ways you can use it. I think mostly it's probably most common with kids that have disabilities.
Yeah.
And then the VA option is also another one.
Yeah.
I think there's also musical therapists that go to like hospitals and like play for patients or help with mental health through music. Because it's like music is like a universal language.
It is.
So like whether you speak any other language other than like what I speak, music everybody knows.
You feel it. It's like a universal feeling. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So I changed. Then I ended up transferring back closer to home, and then I was like, I'm just gonna do athletic training. And then I was like, you're working so many hours and getting a lot less pay, and you're getting not paid for hours that you're working.
Yeah.
Because you might get paid for 40 hours a week, but then you're working 80 hours a week and you're not getting paid for the other 40 hours you're working.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, that's just not, like, it's not what I want to do. And then I was already coaching a little bit before I started doing athletic training. And I was like, this is like pretty fun. Like 1-2 clients, like I'm doing for free, just helping them out.
We've all been there.
And I was like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then I started getting more into it. And I was like, it's like pretty easy and it's like fun. I'm enjoying it. And then, you get to learn more about the person. You get to watch them reach their goals.
Yeah.
And then you get to go into rabbit holes of research and say, I can try this. I can use these foods and I can improve this. And then, and then we can optimize training this way and like implementing this. And like you're learning so much and then you're able to implement more for your clients. And it's just like an endless like relationship of like, I'm better now, so I can make you be better now. And it's like going back and forth.
Yeah.
And then you get, another thing is I couldn't do a job where I'm doing the same thing every day. And obviously we're generally broad spectrum doing the same thing every day, but every client's different.
So unique.
And every client's so unique. and you got to do different approaches for this. Like, oh, like this is this issue for this client, so like we got to use this approach. And this client has this issue, so we can do that approach. And you got to go back and forth, and it's like it's pretty fun because I love solving puzzles. Not
I was
like,
about to say it's like a puzzle.
Not physical puzzles. Those drive me. I used to the border, and then you kind of.
I couldn't even do it, dude.
Yeah, it drives me insane. So every client's like a puzzle, and like trying to solve like, the way to solve the puzzle is just so satisfying.
Yeah.
It's gratifying for the client. It's also really gratifying for me too.
Yeah.
And I touched on this last time, but like, I get way more satisfaction from like my client reaching their goal than I do from like reaching my own goals.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's so cool. Like you got this, like you've been working like this amount of time to get this and you finally got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get mine. It's like, that's nice.
We did it.
Like,
yeah.
But
I don't know. I would agree. It's kind of with that feeling of like seeing your client succeed and that's more important than your own. I kind of have like a mentality, like I'm like a big brother or I don't know. Something like that. I'm like, dude, you crushed it. Let's go. Like you did it. And I think so many people too, especially getting into this stuff, it can be intimidating hiring a coach. And if you're especially new to it and just changing your lifestyle, like that stuff's not easy. Life's pretty hard. There's so many things you got to take care of, family, job, whatever it is, X, Y, and Z. But to see them really take initiative and change their life, and you're seeing it right in front of you. You're like there from the beginning. And then everyone else in their life may not see it, all the grind they're putting in and them improving, but you can see just their emotion change, right? They come to you maybe a little less confident and they, insecure. They may already have the thought about giving up. You stick with them, you help them, build them up both physically and mentally, and you just see them become a new person. And it is so cool. It's like no better feeling than to see them just have a new outlook on life. Like, hey, okay, like life's actually pretty good and I feel better. And if I can do this, I can do that. Maybe they translate to business or they become a better spouse, a better father.
You hear their voice on the first call versus like a month later and you're like, this is a different person.
You really, I like to say like we're a catalyst of self-belief. That's what we are.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? Like all we're doing is lighting that fire that you already have within you. You have to see it yourself. Because the biggest battle, and this is what I tell clients when they come to me for the most part, the biggest battle isn't about following the nutrition plan. It isn't about working out. The biggest battle starts with your mind and how you view yourself in the world. That's where it all starts. If you have a positive outlook on yourself, a positive outlook on life, you have self-belief, you can do endless things. But you have to just always keep that self-belief. And I think that's where we come to role because we're that catalyst.
Yeah.
When they start to come, when they start to have those feelings of coming down, like, I'm just not seeing the results I want and, life's beating me up. I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, remember just how we have our why we do this, you have to remind them of their why.
Yeah.
What's your why? Why are you doing this? I want to be a better dad. I want to see my grandkids grow up. I want to be a better partner. I want to be just a better human being. And it all starts with this mindset. So we're not only doing health coaching. Obviously, we know you bring up your health and your body, you're going to improve the mind. Pretty simple there. But at the same time, we're just helping you build this like strong fortitude within your mind, this perspective shift of like, hey, the world is obtainable. These goals are obtainable. I have to get out there and chase them, which is such a cool feeling, dude. It's literally, that's probably my favorite part about it.
Do you have any favorite quotes? I have two that when you're speaking made me think of them. Is sometimes life gets hard and it doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good one.
And then the next one is like my favorite one I use all the time. One of my swim coaches from high school said it, is get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's
it's
like
just like I try to live by that.
Dude, those are great ones. And I say that all the time too, like easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easier life. It's just the opposite. Nobody wants to do the hard stuff. Nobody necessarily wants to meal prep and nobody wants to work out all the time, but you have to shift your perspective and your mindset towards it, your attitude towards it. Like you get to do these things. You get to meal prep. You get to work out. You get to improve because there's a lot of people in the world too. And I remind myself of this all the time when I'm like, oh God, my life's so hard. I have to do all this and X, Y, and Z. There's people really struggling out there that would absolutely kill for the opportunity just to eat better and improve their life, but they can't. Right. Yeah. So I like to use that too. Like it is way worse other places. And you need to count your blessings and just have a different outlook on it.
Yeah.
Use it as motivation.
Yeah. I could easily say, like, I have to go on, like, an 18-hour flight to go see my fiance. Like, I can't believe I have to go on an 18-hour flight. But then it's like I get to go fly like 18 hours to Europe,
awesome place. Yeah, like, and you have a fiance. It's like,
yeah,
heck yeah, dude.
This is freaking like sick. Because I've told people like, because they've asked me like, oh, like winter flight, like how long is it? I'm like, oh, it's like 16 hours. Like, oh my gosh, that sucks. I'm like, I guess sitting on a plane, like watch a movie, get some meals, like fly different countries.
Do you know the Raw Dog? This is random.
Oh yeah.
Where they just will take like a 16-hour flight and they just won't do anything except sit there.
They start the flight like the.
You gotta do that next time. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think there's any way.
Dude,
oh my gosh, I was on
I fall asleep.
Shout out to Sander. I had my flight last winter on the way home from Germany till here. Me and this guy talked from before the plane took off to when the plane landed the entire time.
That's sweet. That's
a cool story. I play chess with him every day. Since then,
you never know.
What's today? Since the middle of January, I played chess with him every day.
That's pretty cool.
Like not a single day we missed a single day.
And that just highlights like your perspective. Like some people could go on that flight 16 hours and just be miserable the whole time. Talk to a stranger, make a friend. Now you're playing chess every day. It's the same thing that goes with anything in life. How you look at whatever it is will determine that outcome.
Yeah.
If you have an obstacle, you have a challenge, instead of being like, oh God, life sucks. It's like, okay, what do I need to do to conquer this? Let me get fired up a little bit. Let me turn that despair and that, anxiety into motivation. And if you can just get good at switching that, dude, it will really help you. Like it will really help you with life because you do the hard things. Easier life. You took care of it. Where stress comes, I think Jeff Bezos said this, where stress and anxiety comes from is from the inability to not do action towards whatever you're thinking about, right? So you're stressed out about something. What's causing the stress? Lack of action. Go do action towards whatever that is, and you will conquer that stress. If you're in your life and you're unhealthy, you hate your job, maybe you're in a bad relationship, and you're stressed out constantly, you're not doing any action to fix those things. One, okay, take care of your health. Get in a better spot there. Two, you hate your job. Find ways to replace that job. A job does not define who you are. Yes, you need a job for income, but you can do your job and look for other opportunities, learn new skills, whatever it is, start taking action. You hate your relationships, don't be with them. Don't be with them. Now if you have kids, it's a little different. I understand that. But everything that, I see mostly in my life about and I guess this is more like victim mentality, right? Life sucks. Like my life is just so shitty. Yeah. The cards are against me. It's like, well, look at your actions, right? Now, granted, some bad things really do happen to people. That is 100% true. I do emphasize
some people are dealt a bad hand.
But for the majority of people that I interact with, and they're like, oh, my life sucks. Like I'm out of shape. And it's like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, look at your daily habits, look at your goals, look at your mindset. What can you switch up to make your life a little bit better? And then if they start doing it, and that's where discipline comes from, it's like, okay, life's actually not as bad as I thought. It's just that small change. You know what I mean?
Adding little habits.
Yeah, little habits.
It's one day at a time.
Yeah.
There's no huge change you need to make. Some people I need to turn my life around, I need to do all this. And they put so much on their plate.
Yeah.
And just start with making your bed in the morning.
Literally simple as that. We talked about that last time.
Yeah. There's just all the small things. If you can do all the small things, have order, start adding in 1-2 small things, and then you build off that, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, a year later, your life's completely changed.
Yeah, and instead of those bad habits you have, scrolling TikTok for 4 hours, maybe playing video games or watching your favorite television show, take 30 minutes away from that. Maybe you don't have to give all that up right away. Take 30 minutes away from that. Walk on the treadmill, walk around, read a book. Just do something a little different, changes that you can start implementing, and then just add more time and slowly take habits away from the bad things. And most people recognize that, dude. For most people, I think they're conscious of, I would hope, maybe not everybody, but I would feel like for the majority, if their habits are not productive, they can kind of sense it. They have a feeling. If you're scrolling TikTok for 8 hours and you have other things you want to do with your life, they're like, oh, okay, I'm not feeling the best.
Yeah, now we kind of get into the whole delayed gratification thing.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on this with the low consciousness and then high consciousness, low food drive, high food drive kind of thing. Going more to a little controversy on the food dye ban. There was the red food dye ban a couple months ago. What do you think about that?
I'm for it, dude. Personally, I'm definitely biased just because I am a functional health coach. I preach what I preach what I do, and I do what I preach. Meaning I want to eat healthy foods, organic foods, things that are natural to us in our environment and, that we've evolved with for thousands of years. Yeah. Obviously, red dye, MSGs, all these processed stuff is not natural, and it's pretty new, right? I mean, in the past, as we've grown as population and we have to feed the masses, like this stuff is more so new as technologies increase, agriculture's increased, we have to feed more people.
I didn't think MSG was that bad.
MSG's bad.
Is it?
Yeah. And it's just all that stuff. You got to think, like, we've evolved over millennia, thousands of years, coexisting with our natural environment. Our bodies recognize that information it receives from the natural environment. That's how we are able to regulate everything. When you introduce things like MSGs, these preservatives,
monosodium glutamate.
Yeah.
Generally, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was, because it's just sodium with the glutamate. But what part of it,
I'm just thinking
physiologically what makes it. I think it's just like ultra processed.
Yeah, it's more of like these refined ultra processed things that are not natural to our environment, right? And then you're looking at oxidized fats, you're looking at trans fats, all of these things in high amounts. And this is, it talks about this in this actually book right here, Deep Nutrition. We've evolved over thousands of years to coexist with our environment. Our environment is information. That information comes in. We're a biochemical engine. We receive that information. It regulates the way we operate.
Yeah.
When we introduce these things, our evolution has not caught up to this, right? Like for a perfect example of this is when we're transporting lipids, when our lipid cycle, when we're transporting things like fatty acids within our body does not recognize that when it's transporting these lipids to your brain and to other parts that need those fatty acids, it does not recognize that content of that lipid package. It's not recognizing, okay, these are healthy fats or bad fats. All it's recognizing is there's fats in here, bring it to me.
Yeah.
Our body has not evolved enough to like really deal with things like oxidized fats, trans fats.
Yeah.
So
it just brings it into the inner mitochondrial membrane.
It's going right through, and it's causing a ton of damage. But it's because it's all new. I mean, evolution occurs over millions of years.
You get fat, you just take it in.
Yeah, and so
you have a cat, that is carnitine acetyltransferase, and brings it into the inner mitochondrial membrane, and then you just metabolize it basically.
Yeah. So we see a big problem now. It's like, especially vegetable oils, all these seed oils, everything is like refined carbohydrates. All that stuff's coming into our body. It's being transported and regulated how it was for millions of years, and it's coming up and causing a lot of problems. It's causing all these neurodegenerative diseases, all these inflammatory diseases, autoimmune conditions, and it's all from our food because our bodies are not evolved. I mean, it just happened in the past like 100 years, right? Where we have this artificial stuff. Our bodies evolution takes longer than that. So it's just causing all these problems. And that's what we're starting to see. So I'm for all like the red dye bans, all like getting rid of all this, excuse my language, bullshit food because it's not real food,
Yeah.
And it's a good point between like macro values and micronutrients. Macro values are not everything. Like what you need are the micronutrient values. If you're eating Domino's pizza and you're like, oh, it's in my macros. Well, what's the micronutrients there? You're not eating anything good. You're eating vegetable oils, trans fats, oxidized fats, probably old food. Let's be honest there too. Like it's probably refrigerated old food.
Yeah.
Like it's not natural stuff. And yes, it hits your macros, sure, but it's not anything micronutriently dense. Your body needs that. That's how it operates better.
Yeah. You're something like leaky gut, and then you're
So I'm for them pulling all that away and offering people more of an opportunity to eat better foods that are more natural to us.
Yeah.
And then I swear to you, dude, I'm doing research right now on a post I'm going to make on the correlation between mental health, depression, and then the gut microbiome. And just there alone, the amount of difference of processed foods and
talks about it in here.
And I read that book too. Great book. It just shows you, dude. It just shows you like there's such a correlation between mental health issues and what you eat, and people don't realize that. So, and then they go to the doctor. This is where we get a big pharma here. They go to the doctor. They're depressed, and they're like, okay, you need an SSRI or you need some antidepressant. Well, it's like, dude, what are you eating every day? Are you moving? What are you eating? That has such a big significance on where you're at. Get your blood work done. Maybe get a GI map. See what you're eating. Change that stuff before you hop on SSRI. Because we all know 90% of serotonin is made within your gut. And then you get on, SSRIs that are blocking the serotonin receptors.
Or Ozempic.
Or Ozempic, GLP-1s. I mean, we can get into that too. But it's like, no. You guys are just throwing Band-Aids at everything. Go back to the root cause. That's why I like functional coaching so much. Go back to the root cause. What's going on? Go back to like our roots, eating quality foods that are natural to our environment, that's natural to your body. And your body's smart, bro. And as we both have dived into this, your body is one of the craziest things. It is wild. Literally evolved to promote your health, right? And when you introduce new things, it's like that are bad for it and it's not used to yet because we just invented all this stuff. It's just effing us up. So go back to this, give it what it needs, and then you can grow. You can grow really good. You don't need to teach a tree how to grow. You just need to give it
water. Yeah.
You just need to give it water and it will grow. Same thing with your body. Got to give it nutrients. So
yeah, because my opinion with the red dye ban is that there's over like 500 something chemicals, like food ingredients, that are banned in other countries, and we just banned the one. And I think it's something that was going to make a lot of noise, but wasn't going to make a difference.
Yeah,
because if it took us this many years to ban one food dye, and there's 500 plus things that are banned in other countries, we're never going to get all of them like banned.
Yeah.
It's going to need some major, like either political changes, more regulation with FDA or whatever it is. Like it's a big drastic change, because the issue is it's so hard to get it to where you can ban these things. Because say you want to ban these, and then that company takes you to court. They have infinite money. They're just going to prolong that as long as they can, and it's so hard to get rid of these foods. They're making billions of dollars off these food ingredients being in their food. They have to get rid of them. Then, like with the food dye ban, they have till 2028 to get rid of it from their products. You have 3 years.
It's like common sense, like just get rid of it. But you're right. There's too many hands in the pot.
You have 3 years to get rid of one dye ingredient when you could just get a natural dye.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to cost more. They're still going to make billions. But all these just massive companies, you have all these ingredients. You can't fight these massive companies that are doing billions of dollars. They prolong the court. They get the best lawyers. They just push things off.
And people forget about it then.
Then they forget about it. Like, I doubt anybody remembers that the food dye ban happened. They're not going to remember it until it actually happens in 3 years.
We got UFOs and nuclear war on the horizon. We can't worry about food dyes.
Like it's just crazy. Like the importance that people put on some things that like are not important. Like it just.
And that's the thing. I mean, we can get into like the society talk here of, looking at America. I love America. It is the land of the free, opportunity. I'm blessed to be here. But America is one big business, man. There is tons of corporate interests and financial interests, especially within the health field, dude. Yeah. You're looking at big pharma, you're looking at the medical community, you're looking at sugar companies, all the processed food companies, whatever it is, they're all wanting like, hey, let's not get rid of this stuff, right? And I think there's good people within the industry that really want to do good work, regardless of what it is. But you got to look at it like a business perspective. No business wants to lose money. That's a bad business. You're a failing business, right? Yeah. You want to increase your margins and grow more. And we talked about America wants more, especially within, money, like these people are racking in money. Why would they want to change anything? And this is, I think, where, I like to think about it as more of like a conscious evolution type of thing, where we need to eventually get rid of this idea of just capitalism and money. And we need to be like, okay, what's best for just people, man? Like, what's best for people? I look at it like, what do you want to feed your kids? What do you want? If you were feeding your kids this stuff and you knew all the effects it had and you knew it was going to F them up later in life, would you still do it? Probably not. But you're going to do it for millions of people across America. Oh, it's different. It's not different. At the end of the day, we're all stuck on this freaking rock floating in space. We're all connected in the same concept that we are human beings experiencing whatever this is. And we just need to show some love, man. Like, it makes the world a better place.
Dude, bring back Pangea.
Yeah. Seriously, though, we just need to show some love, dude. Like, it's not about money. It's about impact. When you're going to die, when you're on your deathbed, you're not thinking, oh, man, I'm glad I made billions of dollars selling short Debbie cakes to kids. It's like, no, you're going to remember the impact you had on people and the relationships and the love you shared. That's really the truth. So, and I'm sure all those big corporate guys, on their deathbed probably maybe think about that, right? If they look into what they're doing. So I just hope, like, over time, as we keep growing, internet's a good spot for it. Talks like this are a good spot for it. We just put the humanity back in things. You can all make money from eating healthy still too. You can make healthy foods, make it more affordable. If people are more healthy, maybe we put more money into the economy in other places instead of just like sick people. Like we can do other things. Right? It's just such a mess to clean up right now. It's like, where do you start? I guess banning red dye is a good start, right?
Yeah, it's better than nothing, obviously.
It's just such a mess though, man. It's just America's a beast in its regards of how we've set things up and where it's gone. And I'm definitely not qualified enough to even talk about where to go. I'm hoping things change. I'm optimistic. Regardless of your political views, whatever it is, I think the universal thing is you should want people to feel healthier and be better. That should be a universal thing, right? Health. Yeah, be healthier. You can be better people. People who are usually unhealthy too are depressed, anxious, or they're mean, right? For the most part. Yeah. If you're a healthy individual, I mean, some people are definitely different, but I feel like for the majority, you're a nicer person. You're more fun to be around. You know, you're more well balanced. Your microbiome is healthier, you know? So I don't know. There's a lot of problems there, dude, but who knows? I'm optimistic.
If you were to make the first change, where do you think would be the first place to start?
God, dude, I don't even. Honestly, this is what I'm saying. I'm not even qualified enough to really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really could not even answer that where to like go. I definitely think addressing the food issue is super important. I'm honestly biased because I see it all the time. But that's
like eliminating bad food companies or
just even promoting information on food. Like teach them in school. Like the food pyramid bullshit, don't teach them that. Teach them like actual nutrition and like the basics. You know?
I have an idea.
What would you do?
Do you think, because you know how you can't run commercials anymore for cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
What if it was now illegal to make commercials for unhealthy food and advertisements?
That'd be good. Because
people, obviously, nobody's going to deny cigarettes are bad for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to deny that Krispy Kreme donut's going to be good for you and bad for you.
Yeah.
People still do it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think if you could eliminate marketing, like you're not allowed to promote this in advertising. People are still going to smoke cigarettes. People are still going to eat bad food. But I think the majority of people that will, I think, would be smaller.
I think it would help.
So if you had no marketing allowed towards unhealthy food and have it all towards only healthy food, it's something.
It's something. I mean,
it's that's like the easiest change because you're not like eliminating their food.
Yeah. I will say it maybe even be a little deeper because when you look at the relationship between people who eat low quality food, it's usually lower income people. Just because, bro, I mean, cheap food is bad food. It's just, you know, if you're eating those flatbed pizzas, they're like 99 cents. You're basically just eating cardboard. But if you have a budget of $100 to feed you and your 5 kids, it's like, I just got to get. That's the point. You're not even thinking about micronutrients. You're just thinking about survival. Let me get some calories. So, and it goes to that whole problem of like.
But I can argue you could eat just as cheap.
Yeah, you can. But and this goes back to education though.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're struggling, and this is where like life plays a part. So if you're low income, you're working 2 jobs, maybe you're a single parent and you have 5 kids. That's the extreme, but that does happen. Like that happens a lot. It's generational. It's like low income stuff. And it's sad to say that does happen. But they're not thinking about, let me go learn about nutrients and how to eat healthier. They're thinking, okay, I have some money. I can feed my kids. I don't really have time. I just need to go to the store and buy some food for them because they need to grow. You know, and I really recognize that. I really emphasize that. When I was working as a social worker for a little bit earlier in college, like I saw it all the time, especially in inner Cincinnati. You have generations, and this is we could do a whole podcast on this. We have generations of people born in the same spot, low income. You know, they come from, their upbringing is not good, so they really don't know any love. They just know pain, and then give the same shit, food stamps to buy like Debbie cakes. And I think that's actually getting reversed, but like junk food and stuff. And they're like, okay, let me get a little bit of pleasure because my life sucks. You know?
I don't know if this is still true, but I think the number one food stamp thing is Coke. Number one used food stamp is on Coke.
I will say, dude, when I was social working,
Coca-Cola, not cocaine.
But when I was social working, I did see it a lot. Like you take these people to the store, and you know, you can make recommendations of what food to get, but like, dude, their lives suck. Like this is a pleasure moment for them. They have nothing else for the most part. They're like, dude, yes, I get to eat some glazed donuts. Like, oh, that's awesome. I want to have some pleasure because food is pleasure for most people.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna get that dopamine release, that sugar intake. It's like, okay, yeah, I feel a little bit better for like a little bit of moment, and then they're back in this reality of like it's hard to crawl out of. And then that's why you also see the drug problem in lower income places. Dude, they're just trying to escape reality. I mean, they don't have like this avenue of opportunity to go to school, play sports, get out of whatever they're in. So food's an outlook, drugs are an outlook, and it's a problem, man. I mean, it's a whole thing. And if you've never seen this firsthand, I will say, go volunteer one day in like one of your local cities, inner cities, and just start talking with people. It's really humbling, because if you come from a place of like, I had more of a privileged life. Like I grew up, I had both my parents, I went to a good school, I was able to go to college. I recognize those blessings. And it humbled me so much on my problems. And this is why I talked about like life could be worse when I talked to my clients. It humbled me so much when I went to those places and I saw this like generational struggle. And some of these people are so optimistic, and they really do just have hope. And it's like, bro, if I was in this situation, I don't even know what I would do. I would probably do everything you're doing. I'd say I wouldn't do it. I'd say I would grind my way out of it, but be honest with yourself. You have no foreseen opportunities. You have no money. You have no support system. Your parents aren't around. You have no family.
No networking.
Drugs are around all the time. I'm eating shitty food all the time. It's like a perfect storm that just beats you down. And the government really doesn't help. They're gonna maybe give you some opportunities for like Section 8 or group housing. Those things are shitholes, at least in the inner city that I worked in. Shitholes, bad people around because they were born in the same environment, and it's just so hard to make it out. So hard to make it out.
Me and you both know a lot of mentors, a lot of very successful people.
Yeah.
We have probably more networks than we could probably put on paper.
Yeah.
And eliminating all of that, starting ground zero, no connections,
dude,
no like family to go back on. It's like if you don't have a house, like,
dude,
it's like where do you start?
Even regardless of all of that, think about your early life, and you don't even have. Don't think about house, friends. You have an absence of love. Like you have an absence of love. And I'll say a story. Like I met a kid, and it still touches me today. And I always think about him sometimes randomly. But I met a kid when I was working as a social worker in inner Cincinnati, and he, 16 years old. I think maybe he was 16, 17. He had 12 brothers and sisters, living in a house by himself. His mom was a prostitute. His mom was, prostituting herself out for drugs, not even to support the kids. And he was the most genuine, nice kid I have ever met in terms of just being a person. I'm like, dude, you should be a dick.
How old was he?
16, 17 years old. Raising his, I kid you not, 12 brothers and sisters, all younger. Mom absent, no family household structure. I don't know much about the dad, but I don't think he was around. And it's like, dude, you have every single right to just be a complete asshole, hate the world, hate life. But you come to me, you're talking with me, you're being a human, you're telling me about, your passions, what you're into. Like we'd play NBA 2K on my phone sometimes. We just play it back and forth. And just to see like these moments of like, dude, you come from such, and this is where we talk about like cards are shitty dealt. That dude has shitty cards.
Yeah.
And he didn't ask for anything. He took the responsibility to raise his siblings because he had to. And he had such an opportunity. He had such an optimistic look on life. I'm like, dude, why do I ever complain? I'm complaining about going to the gym or like I'm tired from work. This dude is literally raising 12 of his siblings that completely rely on him by himself. He's going around walking like 2 miles to the bus stop to go on the bus to get a job for Taco Bell to get paid $15 an hour or whatever it was. Come back, use that money to literally buy food for his family. And I'm like, dude, he's 16, 17. You should be a kid. You should be having a fun life. You should be going around chasing girls, playing sports. And it's like, no. He is literally taking care of his family because he has no other option, but he doesn't complain about it. And he has every right to do so. So it just humbled me a lot, man. And I'm very grateful for that job. It was a hard job. You see a lot of stuff, but I'm very grateful for it because it's like, and I tell this to my clients, it's like, man, your life is not that bad. You got to change your perspective. It is worse. It is way, way worse. And people don't really realize that because it's the saying, the worst thing to happen to you is the worst thing to happen to you. You get a flat tire. Fuck, my life sucks. My BMW has a flat tire. Yeah. It's like, dude,
you have a car to drive.
You have a car to drive. You have someone to call to fix your flat tire. There's people out there in life. You probably have
a connection to get a discount on your tire getting repaired.
You can pay it. You have money in the bank. Like there are so many people out there that don't have any of this. Don't have any of this. And they find the joy in the little things in life. And that's something I try to live by too, is just finding the joy in little life. And it's a saying, I'm going to get it actually tattooed this summer on me, but it's a Latin saying. It's mors certa, ora incerta. It means death is certain, the time uncertain. We are all going to live a life. I don't know how long it is, but at the end of the day, we're all going to die. Mm-hmm. Some may be billionaires. Some may be, you know, like my friend I met at 17, grinding from the start. How your outlook on life and your perspective on it is going to determine the life you live. You can have a hard fucking life. You can have an easy life. But your outlook's going to decide your mental state. And you have the choice, regardless of what it is. And it's such I think it's such an important thing.
Yeah.
Because especially with health and fitness, man, it's like, if you have this opportunity, it's a blessing. You have a blessing to take care of your health. Not many people get to do that. So you might as well make the best of it.
Nobody makes it out of life alive.
Yeah, nobody. And you don't bring anything with you except your memories, your successes, the love you shared, and the value and the energy you brought to other people, the impact you brought to other people. And I think that it just relates to everything you do in life, especially within coaching and fitness, man. Especially within coaching and fitness. I don't know. I rant right there.
Yeah. I think that was amazing. Like,
yeah,
all that. I think it's actually like the best place to end it.
Cool.
So we're going to wrap it up here. Probably have you back on sometime.
Dude, I'd love to. I love chatting, man. Hopefully this one recorded.
I hope you guys made it this far. If you did, make sure you watch all the other episodes. And I'll be back with episode 4 coming soon.
Peace, guys.